So our readings today appear at first glance to be about hospitality. In Genesis, we see Abraham offering rest and refreshment to these three mysterious travelers. And in the Gospel, we encounter the familiar story of Martha and Mary, and the tensions that can arise when guests arrive and everyone wants to do the right thing. Hospitality seems to be the common thread here. But as I've thought and sat with these readings this week, I found something more, something a little deeper than I expected. In Genesis, Abraham welcomes strangers under the oaks of Mamre. Now, the scene may seem and feel simple to us. A bit of water, a bit of bread. But as Jewish tradition and commentators like Robert Alter remind us, this act of hospitality is no small thing. You see, in ancient cultures, hospitality was not merely politeness. It was a sacred duty and a defining mark of righteousness. Abraham says, "Let me bring you a little bread." But then he rushes around to prepare a lavish feast. He promises little, but gives abundantly. And in that act of hospitality, something extraordinary happens. The guests reveal they are not just ordinary travelers. They are messengers of God. And they carry with them a promise that Sarah will have a child. It's a promise so absurd and so wild that Sarah laughs. And wouldn't we laugh too? But this is the kind of thing that our God does, showing up when we least expect it, in places we don't even recognize, through people we might overlook. Our God is a God of surprises and comes not only to be served, but to bring something, a promise, a future, a life we thought was beyond hope. Our gospel reading gives us two expressions of hospitality. Martha is busy preparing, making sure the guests are well fed and properly received. Many of us know this kind of hospitality as well. We live it every time we bring a meal to someone, that we welcome them into our home or help a neighbor in need. In fact, this kind of hospitality is deeply connected to our calling as disciples, to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, heal the sick, and visit those in prison. It's tangible and it's very important. Mary, on the other hand, offers something quieter, the hospitality of presence. She sits at Jesus' feet listening, abiding. In many ways, she reflects what we see in today's world as the ministry of accompaniment or companionship. Not coming to fix, but to be with. Not solving every problem, but showing up, witnessing, loving. It reminds me of something we often see in British detective shows, like that John and I like to watch on BritBox, like Vera, Morris, Lewis, where even when the police come to question someone in an investigation, the person offers them tea. Now, it may seem strange to us, but it's a gesture that says, you are a guest here, even in this difficult moment. And there's something holy about this. Even in the tension, even in the fear, we offer presence, dignity, hospitality. And we see the same kind of witness in our world today in response to the actions of this administration. And I'm thinking of the clergy and the lay people who are accompanying immigrants to immigration court. They don't do it because they can stop what may come: arrest, deportation, injustice. They do it because accompaniment matters. Presence matters. Witnessing matters. Their very presence says, you are not alone. You are seen. You are made in the image of God. That is the hospitality of presence. It can be a form of resistance, a way of proclaiming the dignity of each person in a world that too often denies it. But here's the thing. Here's where I think it all comes together. As much as we talk about hospitality today, about welcoming God, serving others, sitting attentively, these stories are not primarily about what we do. They are about what God does. Because from the beginning, the story of Scripture is not about our desire to be with God. It's about God's desire to be with us. From the Garden of Eden to the Ark of the Covenant, from the tent of meeting to the temple, from the incarnation of Jesus to the sending of the Spirit, God's longing has always been to dwell with us, to abide with us, to make a home with us. And so often, we miss it. We are often too busy preparing the table or worrying about the details or dismissing the promise as too good to be true. But God keeps showing up. In strangers by the yokes, in the laughter of an old woman, in the quiet presence of a friend, and the guest that we didn't expect. God doesn't ask us to be perfect hosts. God simply asks us to be present, to listen, to receive the divine presence that longs to abide in our homes, our lives, and our hearts. Because in the end, this isn't a story about Abraham and Sarah, or Martha and Mary. It's the story of God's great hospitality, an invitation that echoes throughout time. See, I stand at the door and knock. And when we open that door, we find that God has already prepared the table. And we hear that whisper, hello, beloved. Welcome. Welcome here. Welcome home.